Clock, we're going to get started. Was the meeting posted?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, usually we start off with some other matters of a minor license applications, but initially we'd like to just proceed with the matter of a decision of the Alcohol Beverages Control Commission that was forwarded to the Law Department late yesterday afternoon regarding a matter to do with M&B and Sons Liquors, Inc., the all-alcoholic beverages packaged goods store licensee at 36 Concord Street. Their decision was dated December 16, 2009. The licensee, M&B, had appealed the License Commission's action of a suspension of their package store license, which was a sum total of approximately 37 days, 37 days plus 30 days. Mr. Chairman, it's my understanding, and though I have no verification of this, but that the licensee had actually closed down for 7 days. And the decision of the ABCC was to, in part, to uphold that action of the licensing board, which was the 7-day suspension, but remanded to the local board the matter of a 30-day suspension in which they recommended that there be no additional days beyond another additional 7, a total of 14 days to run concurrently. It's as I understand the decision of the ABC.
Okay.
City Solicitor Brian Leahy is here to expound on that, I'm sure.
Okay.
Mr. Solicitor, it says in this decision that they recommend 7 days. That doesn't mean we have to go with that, does it?
No. Well, there's a couple things. They say it's their recommendation not to exceed 7 days for either one.
Right.
The original 7 days from December 9th to the 16th was served as part of Judge Chernoff's order that he issued. So that order also issued that said if the ABCC remands the case to the Lowell Licensing Board, if you adopt what the ABCC does, the stay will be lifted and they'll have to serve 7 days forthwith. Or if the License Commission does not agree with the remand, then the stay would remain in effect. And what we would have to do is go into court. And at that point, I believe we'd have to, while the stay would remain in this case, the actual real case would be the city filing an appeal of the ABCC decision, which we would have to prove that their decision was arbitrary and capricious.
Okay. You say they served the first 7 days. How did they turn the license into the office?
No, but I don't believe that was, for whatever, I don't believe
What
that
do we
was
have
requested.
for proof that they did? They didn't turn in their license.
I've been assured from counsel, and he can answer your question. As an officer of court, he told me it was closed for 7 days. I can only report that driving home, their neon light was not on for several days. I don't know if the police know whether or not they were open, but my understanding is from Attorney Taldy that they were closed for that 7-day period.
Captain Webb, do you have any proof that they were closed?
I have no knowledge whether they were open or closed during that time period.
Do you have proof that you were closed?
Well, they were ordered by the court to be closed.
Do you have proof that you were closed? You didn't turn in the license.
Well, I'm a little bit unclear on turning in the license. How would that be proof that they
When
were
we close
closed?
somebody,
How would the turning the license in be proof that they were closed? I mean, I don't know if, I didn't personally stand there for 7 days.
No, but when they turn the license in, the office notifies the police department that the license has been turned in, and there's due diligence on a part of the police department to check and make sure it's closed.
The police were notified that it was closed. However, I don't believe the licensee was notified to surrender the license.
He wasn't. He's complied by the order of this commission as it was interpreted by the court, and I've been in touch with the law department extensively about this. There was never any notice or indication that there was a requirement for the license to be surrendered. He has his license with him here today to surrender it.
Why would he have it today and not have? Why did he bring it today?
Because of the fact that I was notified that he should bring it today.
Because when this happened, originally, again, Judge Chernoff issued a ruling that everyone got, I believe, November 30th. That went to all of the commissioners as well as the executive secretary. It said in there that the stay was lifted as to respect to the 5/15 violation, and that was to go in effect on December 9th. Based on that, the order also said that the ABCC would have a decision by December 15th. On December 15th, I got a call from the ABCC saying that they would not have it done by the 15th, but they hoped to have it the next day on the 16th. I got it on the 16th. So after getting that, you know, if they didn't have it by the terms of Judge Chernoff's order, which is a judicial order which trumps any decision that this body makes, or for that matter, the ABCC with respect to the issue before it, they could get their license back at 9 a.m. and open on December 16th. Mr. Nguyen was out on the 15th. I went looking for the license because I'd assumed it had been taken and that we had the actual license. I couldn't find it on the morning of the 16th. I couldn't find it. Then when Mr. Nguyen came in, I spoke to him about it. He was unaware of the suspension and did not have the license. It was from that time in conversations with Attorney Talty that he learned about having to have the license surrendered, which is why his client is here today with the license, because they now know that when there is a suspension to turn in the license. But prior to me calling him on the 15th, he was unaware of that.
Okay, well then if you argued this before the ABCC, why are they saying to serve the 7 days, the two panels concurrently?
No, they say consecutively. Concurrently would be concurrently would be 7 and 7, as literally it would only be 7 days. They say consecutively.
Consecutively,
which
rather,
is
excuse me,
on and
stand
after.
corrected, yeah.
That's on and
Why are
after.
they saying that?
Because he's already served 7 days from the 9th to the 16th.
But why
and they're
then, why
saying-
would they include that 7 days? If he's already done those 7 days, and they've made a decision based on what they presented down there, then why are they even including those first 7 days? They've already, we can't turn
because
the
what they're
clock
saying
back
is
and make them serve
if
them consecutively.
They're saying they remanded, they treated it as a first offense with 2 counts, because in their determination, there'd been no meaningful punishment ever given
Yeah.
previously.
Only because they don't, and this is news to us too. I mean, fortunate to this gentleman, he's going to change the whole outlook of how this is going to be done from now on. There's going to be no more there's going to be no more probations. There's going to be no more suspended sentences. The liquor stores in the city can thank, because from now on, people are going to get suspended, period.
You could still do a suspended sentence. That's different than straight probation.
I want to know in this decision, they're saying that the 7 days on the first charge and the 7 days that they think is so important on the second charge should be served consecutively, when they had already been served prior to this decision.
Right.
So the ABC should have said they upheld the first 7 days and recommended a second 7 days. They never should have said 7 days consecutively. They're saying
No,
close the store for 14 days.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Right.
Close it for 14 days in a row.
No,
In a row.
consecutively-
Yes, they are. Consecutively, one after another.
Consecutively in this, well, it's not feasible because then you have to go back.
Attorney Talty, what are the dates of the alleged closing of M&B Liquors or Belvedere Liquors?
It complied with the court order on the injunction. I believe it was the 9th to the 16th.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. They've been open.
I'm sorry?
15.
To the 15th, correct.
So they've been
They
open
reopened
for-
on the 16th, which
Which
was
is yesterday.
which was yesterday. So
Okay.
they were open for a day. I think it's getting into an area of semantics. When you talk about consecutively, I would interpret consecutively to mean from the 9th to the 15th. Then, according to the court order, given the fact that there was no decision by the ABCC and we weren't in front of this board yet, they've been open for a day. And I would think that it's in accordance with the agreement that they would be shut down forthwith if, in fact, the board decides to concur with what the ABCC has concluded.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Well,
they
I
should be-
just say, I don't see it.
I think they should be shut down for the next 7 days. For beginning today,
I agree.
7 days.
I agree.
I agree that this,
Look, they got Thanksgiving out of this. They got the best weekend of the year. They got Thanksgiving, the weekend before Thanksgiving. And now we're going into Christmas, okay? They've had all this time. These people in Boston aren't worried about the people in Lowell like you and I are.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I
For
did.
them to sit down and say that we put somebody on probation, or we give somebody a suspended sentence and it doesn't count because they don't want to count it as a first offense, when, you know, to me, they said consecutively.
No, I know.
They didn't say, when you get a chance, serve the 7 days. They said, do 7 and 7, so.
I agree with you. I think their decision is wrong. I agree with that. But they recommended 7 days and then another 7 days consecutively. Knowing how a lot of these things work, my guess is that they probably came down with this decision on the 12th or the 13th, and by the time it got processed, typed up, and executed by the chairman, we didn't get it until yesterday.
They were working on it literally on the 15th and on the 16th.
And if we had got it, if we had received it on the 15th, then the 14 consecutive days would have been no problem.
Well, you would have had to call a
We'd had
special meeting.
Yeah. But
Right,
we
had
could-
you got this yesterday,
Right.
had a special meeting yesterday,
Right.
you wouldn't be
Right.
debating whether or not it's 14,
Yeah.
you know.
And Commissioner, if you don't want to, I mean, we don't have to go forward on this because it's just a recommendation. But I know the arbitrary and capricious standard would be pretty difficult for the city to overturn and cause the city to incur significant legal fees.
there's-
And I think it's a good teaching point for us that for now on, with the probation and the way that we do the warnings, we're just gonna have to document it a little better and be a little tougher right from the start.
And there's stuff, again, regarding this decision that, you know, we could discuss in executive session, which is probably the more appropriate forum to discuss some of the things. But generally speaking, what you're saying is all actions that should be looked at for future
Right. In the future.
issues.
I mean, unfortunately, I think they got lucky here. But they hired a good attorney who did a good job, and, you know, I'd make a motion that they surrender the license now and be closed 17, 18, 19, 20, 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
Would they be open, they'd be able to open 7 days from, essentially on,
Whatever.
Open now, isn't it?
right.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
open.
he's open
Right,
tomorrow.
right, well, it can either, if he has the license now, it would either be, if you start it tomorrow morning, it
Yeah.
would be, he could open,
The 26th.
Christmas Day, or if you
The
take it now,
26th.
he could open,
No, he can't.
can't be open
Just for the
Christmas Day?
record, package store licensees cannot sell or serve alcohol beverages on Christmas Day. They cannot sell or serve alcohol beverages on Memorial Day, and they cannot sell or serve alcohol beverages on Thanksgiving Day. That's state law.
Okay.
So if he surrenders his license tomorrow morning, he can pick it up on the 26th?
Yes.
Or he will have to pick it up at the police department on the
Well,
26th?
you know, that's
No.
where
Bit of
the.
the 26th.
26th, that's what I
Right.
said.
that-
Yeah.
It's a
that sa-
Saturday, I
That would be
think.
the Saturday, and that would mean that involves the Captain Webb and the front desk at the Lowell Police Department to have available that license. Now, in the meantime,
If you took it right now, he could get it back 7 days from today, which would be Christmas Eve day at 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever time this is.
Yeah, but I think that
Oh,
Christmas
come on.
Eve day is,
Let's be a little bit reasonable.
Yeah,
It's
I-
Well, no,
Christmas Eve.
if you're worried about
Bah,
Saturday,
humbug,
if
I'm
you're
Mr.
worried about
Scrooge.
Saturday, the simplest
Have
thing
pick it up
then,
Monday.
the simplest thing
Yeah.
then is
Give him an extra day.
have it tomorrow.
I'm sure he'd love to be able to
And then
spend
if she just
Christmas
picks
home
up
with his
Saturday.
family.
If you're concerned about Saturday, then you have to look at Thursday. If you want to do it, the simplest thing is start it tomorrow, and then Saturday morning he can
and I
pick it
mean, the
up.
police department, I mean, they're
They're open 24/7.
24/7, they'll be there Saturday morning, so he can pick it up Saturday morning. That's I'll make a motion that he's closed from December 18th through December 26th at 9 AM or whatever.
I would just say,
For this next 7 days beginning, for 7 consecutive days beginning December 18th.
Right, knowing that on the 25th, no alcohol
It's
can
a-
be
it's a
served.
closed day regardless, so you don't want to impact that day as one of the,
Right, so it would be the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So 7 consecutive days starting tomorrow.
okay.
I still gotta use my fingers.
Now, is there a process that we should follow to make sure that the license is available on the Saturday morning? Because I wouldn't be surprised if we got here and it wasn't.
Well, that's the risk your client will take, I guess, when he goes to the front desk of the Lowell Police Department.
Oh, there's
Because I'll
been-
make sure that it is in the front desk. When I leave it there, what becomes of it after I leave the front desk, I can't say.
Well, you know.
He'll be
smart
there.
thing-
The executive secretary will bring it to the police department are you,
Yeah, but that doesn't
On
mean
his
that
last
you
meeting.
can't take 5 minutes out of this is not our job to accommodate you. Your client is the person that, pick up the telephone a couple of, the day before and say, did you drop Ryan? Hi, did you drop the license off? Yes, I did, okay? And then call over to the police department and say, just want to check to make sure there's no snags. Do you have the license there? It's simple. That's your job. That's not ours. We're not going to start running around. This guy violated the law. You are getting a tremendous break. This guy ought to put you on a retainer, okay? Because he made out really well out of this deal. Let me tell you, if I had my way, we wouldn't even be talking about this nonsense, okay? The license will be at the police department. It's up to him or you.
Well, I'll follow up. I just have a lot of experience in trying to retrieve property in the past, and it's not always an easy
Not out of the
process.
licensing office you haven't. This guy does a fabulous job. I
I'm
won't
not
let you
suggesting
stand there.
anything,
We've never had a problem with, when Ryan says something's going to be done, the problem with Ryan is he accommodates too many people. If I was sitting at the desk, I'd probably forget it in my desk over the weekend. But that's me, because that's the way I think. Okay, I'm going to second the motion. That means you're going to get the license back Saturday morning, right?
correct?
Thank you.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Thank you, John.
Mr. Correa, I'll be in my office tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
All right. Thank you.
Commission will now take up matters to do with public amusement applications. For the Songus Arena, Jeffrey Lasante, the Director of Finance for the SMG Songus Arena, Paige Shaler is the representative. A show 2010 Colonial Classic Skating Competition by the Colonial Figure Skating Club is the promoter. This will be Friday, January 8th, 2010, from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Saturday, January 9th, from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Also, the Colonial Figure Skating Club will also be hosting a similar event on Thursday, January 28th, 2010, from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday, January 29th, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Saturday, January 30th, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Lowell Memorial Auditorium, Thomas McKay, Mill City Management, Inc. is the overseer, Colleen McDonald's representative. Boxing, the 64th Annual Golden Gloves Tournament will take place starting January 8th. They'll have dates on the 15th, 19th, and the 26th, February 2nd, 9th, and 12th, 16th, and February 17th, 2010. Generally, their hours would be 7:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. There will be a show, Anthony Bourdain, Saturday, January 9th, 2010, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. A show also for the Sesame Street Live, Thursday, January 21st, Friday, January 22nd, and Saturday, January 23rd, 2010. There'll be shows on morning matinees and evening shows. Also a concert, Rain, a tribute to the Beatles. That'll be Wednesday, January 27th, 2010, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Paige Schaller, Songus Arena, SMG Event Manager.
Okay.
Carleen McDonald.
Okay. Anything here that that skating can be wild and crazy, I imagine, huh?
Yeah, they get a little
Well,
crazy.
is this guy Anthony Bourdain, is that guy eats all the wacky foods?
Yes.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. People are gonna pay to come and see that? Ugh. Sesame Street, now that's
I
my
think
street.
yeah, but I think that's the people who really need the alcohol, with all those kids running around.
Okay,
I'll be there.
Sesame Street.
I'll be there.
Hey, pay attention,
I know, I'll be there.
okay? I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
It's motion made and seconded, all in favor say yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Maybe you can introduce Sesame Street to Anthony Bourdain, you know? Oh, I love these, you know, what is it? He eats that rattlesnake and, oh, God. Next on the agenda.
Commission will now open a hearing on the application for change of corporate officer, director, manager, and transfer of corporate stock regarding the all-alcoholic beverages restaurant licensee known as Fairleigh Corp. of Lowell, Mass., doing business as The Courtyard. Christopher B. Locapo is the president, for premises at 276-280 Central Street.
Introduce yourself for the record.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I'm Attorney George Labonte, representing the Fairleigh Corp. And this afternoon,
You know where it is, with the big yard with the motorcycles.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is the old Farragut Hotel.
Farragut, the old Turner's Pub.
All right. So now you're gonna, okay.
well, if I could start
Yeah,
off.
go ahead. Tell us.
What I'm here today is to request a continuance, because we still have some problems with in obtaining a written lease for the board to actually review. We have a lease that expired in October, and under that lease, the tenant has the option to continue the lease for year to year with a provision that states under current market prices. So the landlord and the tenant, Fairleigh Corp., are actually negotiating what that amount is going to actually be. So I thought that would be better for the board if we actually had a written lease for you to actually review, and we knew where we were going.
That would be
I
nice.
thought that we would have had that resolved
Wouldn't they
by
just
now.
cover the whole back of the building with black plastic?
I'm not really sure. I know that,
Yeah,
I
it
know
looks
that
like
they
a black
had-
trash bags nailed up.
well, I know that they had to do something.
Yeah.
Because the building department was, discussing this with the landlord. Unfortunately, I don't know what's actually happened with the landlord. That's one of the issues also, is what kind of construction's gonna have to be done there to comply with the building department's requirements.
These guys have been in business together, right?
Yeah,
Previously,
yeah, they've been
so-
and they've been very good friends for a long time, childhood buddies.
Good.
So that's kind of the gist of this whole thing, is Chris is gonna transfer it over to Dave at some point, but we just wanna get the issue with the landlord settled, and I don't wanna waste you gentlemen's time.
When do you want to continue to?
I'm hoping that we could have it worked out at least by the end of January.
Yeah, have they submitted an application for a liquor license for next year?
Chris Locapo had filed his renewal during the month of November, so everything is on track for the issuance of that license for the new year.
We have a meeting on January 21st, and we have February 11th.
Could I go for February 11th?
Sure.
Because I may myself be away near the end of January.
Make a motion to continue this till February 11th.
Seconded. All in favor, say yes.
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 You want to ask if anybody wants to speak on this matter?
Is there anyone here that, or you do it?
What, yeah, no,
He's the boss.
was there anybody in here that had any comments, pros or cons, as far as this hearing, this part? I think all we're doing is continuing it. Does it get advertised the second time?
I'm sorry?
Does this get advertised the second?
No,
time?
it's
It doesn't.
advertised once you're allowing the
Once.
continuance. It's
Okay. Anybody here that would want to speak on the courtyard for any reason? No, okay. I thank you, we'll go. That part of the hearing's closed, and we'll allow them to continue it. It won't be advertised again, so you gotta make sure you mark it down in your, okay?
I did, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate
you.
your time.
All right, next on the agenda.
Commission will now open a hearing on the application for the malt beverage and wine only packaged goods store license by Yashoda Corp., doing business as Economart, Samir P. Patel, treasurer, for premises at 1280 Lawrence Street, there being a one unnumbered door on the west side. There will be a one-room for retail, approximately 1,300 square feet. It is requested that Samir P. Patel be approved as the manager of record for Yashoda Corp.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Michael Zame. Good afternoon, Mr. Kajan. Appearing this afternoon for the Yashoda Corporation. Mr. Bayless, I had a brief conversation with the Assistant City Solicitor.
Yes.
If you would prefer, we could continue this through into January till Attorney Weicker.
I would, if you don't mind.
I have no problem with that at all. I mean,
Okay.
I said to him.
No, I think that just as long as I'll just make a disclaimer of it. The council and I have no financial interest whatsoever, except that my daughter, unfortunately, is married to his brother. Yeah, you can pick your relatives, you can't pick your, you know what I mean? So anyways, just so that there's no even out of,
Even, I agree, is it rather to avoid even...
The other thing is I did not write the manager, which I talked to council about, and I did not realize, and I...
Right, there was an issue whether or not a written disclosure, but I mean, if it, rather than have an issue, I'd rather err on the side of caution.
I'd appreciate that, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion to continue it to the 11th.
I know there's a lot of people here to speak on this matter, so I'd just like to thank you for taking the time out, but if Commissioner Bayless isn't gonna sit on the hearing, then we need Attorney Weicker here, or Commissioner Weicker, to even accept comments. So unfortunately, we're not gonna have a hearing today for the people that are here.
And I just became aware of this in the hallway.
Well, I
as
just
walked
became
in,
aware of
so
the fact that I should have written
I
a letter.
apologize to the people who came
I've
as
never
well.
done that before in all the time I've been here, so my apologies to all of you as far as that. If there's any blame to be fixed, I guess it's to be fixed to me. I should have written the manager a letter saying that we really don't have a relationship, but we do in the fact that my son-in-law is Michael, is the attorney's brother. That would not affect my decision one way or the other. Mike and I have had some pretty good arguments over things over the past years, but we just don't even want an appearance of a conflict. So, again, my apologies. Huh?
This would be continued to January 7th?
What do you want, the 11th? What's the next meeting?
January 7th.
7th, excuse me, I'm sorry.
January 7th?
7th, all right?
7th's fine.
Okay.
Thank you, Merry Christmas.
Thank you, appreciate it.
January 7th, 2010. Commission will now take up the matter to do with an application by the Polish American Veterans of Lowell, Inc., the all-alcoholic beverages club licensee at 201 Coburn Street, for a change of manager of record to Paul Kozalski Jr. of Drake, Mass.
Introduce yourself for the record, please.
Paul Koselski Jr.
Where's your father?
He's at home today.
He's at home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys run a good club. I know you do. You never had any... Captain Webb, any problems with the PAV?
No, Mr. Chairman,
No.
none whatsoever.
Okay. Now, Paul, have you worked there before?
I bartended there for 15 years, and I've
For
been
15
there.
years?
I've been there most of my life.
Okay, how many times have you got caught for serving minors?
Never.
Okay, that's what we'd like to hear. 15 years seems to give you enough experience, right?
I'll do my
Okay.
best.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Say hi to your dad for us.
Will do. Thank you.
Paul, this will go to Boston, the ABCC, and comes back probably in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know.
He's got shorts on. He's got shorts on. He has shorts on.
He always wears shorts.
Oh, my God.
He always wears shorts. Oh, yeah.
Holy, he is Polish.
Mr. Jamie J. Mikowski is here representing the Chaotic Wrestling Program. They offer shows at the Polish American Vets at 201 Coburn Street. Though he has yet to file the applications, he's anticipating those applications to be filed sometime within the week's time, I believe, or next 2 weeks.
Do they introduce yourself for the record?
Jamie Jambitkowski with Chaotic Wrestling.
Okay, you've been doing this all along, right?
I think about 5-6 years now.
Yeah. Have we ever had any problems, Captain Webb? Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Great. Have a happy holidays, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Just to let you know, it's an ongoing process with regards to the bars and restaurants and the clubs and the hotels to have their compliance with the inspectional services and fire prevention. I know inspectional services and fire prevention for the last 30 days or more have been feverishly going from here to there and every other place that has a license to make sure that they're going to comply and get their certificates in a timely manner so that the office, License Commission Office, can issue the actual liquor license for the new year. So it's coming in. I have a list of the licensees. This is those of the dates you see on the second column. They're
A long way to go.
coming in. They're coming in. Well, hopefully they'll be coming in, and I'll be fairly busy, I'm sure, in the next 10 days with regards to the bars and restaurants. And then for the sake of the information, the package stores, they're not required on this matter to have their premises checked. So I can freely issue those licenses starting next week. That's the list of the package stores. And that, just for the record, Mr. Chairman, we have 22 all-alcoholic package store licensees, and we have 12 beer and wine package store licensees
Okay,
in
on
the city.
beer and wine, how many do we have total that we're allowed?
22.
22.
So
And we have
right now, there
12?
are available, 9 licenses are now available.
9.
For the licensing board to grant. The maximum is 22 for each all alcoholic, and
And we have
For beer and
22
wine.
all alcoholic.
so we maxed out on all alcoholic.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, not for me, thank you.
Okay, anything, Captain Webb?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I think what we'd like to do is wish everybody a Merry Christmas and the best of a new year. Hopefully, we won't see anyone in here before us, and hopefully Santa Claus will be good to everyone. So, on behalf of the whole board and the secretary and everybody, we'd like to wish all the citizens a very Merry and Happy Christmas.
Okay, thank you.
Make a
We're
motion
coming
to-
home, Benjamin.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, seconded, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
This is how, last year we had to bring it.